Live from Man World, it's the Geek Show.
Oh, we're going to do something, and it's going to make Tony so happy. Our first story is a video game story. We're going to lead with that right after. I mean, hit the button, for God's
sake. It's a sausage fest in here today.
It really is, isn't it? Welcome to the program, all. Oh, we can begin. Egg Foo is here. Hi, Egg. How you doing? Let's see. Let's begin. Let's start with our panelists, of course. Quad T, Too Tall Tony.
Hi, Geek Show Arcade, Geek Show Help Desk. Yeah.
Thank you. Robert Neal is here. Also,
hello. Action Figure Theater, Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of the action figure theaters, I think people would love to see video of you putting those together.
That could be fun.
That would mean I have to clean the area so it doesn't look like, oh my God, it's a holy tornado has gone through.
Just think about it. Think about how you.
I can make that happen.
And then we could put that on the Patreon. I think that'd be fun.
Sure. Yeah.
Folks would dig that. Anyway, so that's just the three of us today.
Well, yeah, and our host, Mr. Kerry Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
So Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, x96.com. Yes, because Rebecca is off being Sundance. She is Sundance.
Doing the movie things.
She's got lined up movies head to tail.
How many was she going to try and watch this weekend? Like 9 or something?
Oh no, it was more than that. She got
14, wasn't it?
Yeah, she got some
14?
kind of pass where
yeah.
it was like you could go and see 14 or 15 movies, and she's going to go and see them all. And she's not going to Park City is the thing. She's going to watch them all down here in Salt Lake.
Yeah, who wants to go to Park City?
You don't want to, trust me. There's no place to park in Park City. I've been there. I
get it.
I know what I'm talking
called
about.
Park City.
But yeah,
It's
so
called no Park City.
no parking
Wah, wah.
city. Yeah, she'll have a report for us next week about all of the.
Yeah.
I just hope she saw the Jesse Eisenberg Bigfoot movie. That's all. I want
to see that. Gotta see it.
That apparently there's a movie up there, and it was on opening night. It was I can't remember the name of the actress, but she's been an actress all of her life. And she's one of those when you hear the name, you'd go, "Oh yes."
Sybil Shepherd.
Sure, why not? But it's the story of it's an action film starring a 90-year-old woman doing most of her stunts.
I saw a poster for this.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I'm intrigued.
I know, right? So it's that whole kind of Bob Odenkirk nobody thing, but with a 90-year-old woman.
What the?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
There it is. That's the last original idea. Sorry, Hollywood.
I think so. You're done.
It's all over. That's it.
Everything's
a repeat from now on.
You're all finished. All right. But let's begin with something that yes, it's a video game, Tony.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm very excited about.
You're going to have to get the new Xbox then, Carrie.
The new Xbox? I can't play on my regular one?
No, sir. Your Xbox is 10 years old. You're going to have to get the one that's only 3 years old.
Damn it all. Oh, well. All right, I'll do it.
It's worth it. Trust me. They're great.
I will for this game because there's a trailer out for this game. It's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's coming to Xbox later this year.
And PC.
And PC. So we've seen a lot of Indiana Jones stories of the years. We've rarely been able to, be Indiana Jones in something like that.
I think the last Indiana Jones game that I know of was Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
That sounds about right.
I think that came out on the original Xbox like 20 years ago.
Okay, so there's been something since because there's been the Lego Indiana Jones games.
Oh,
Yes.
The Lego. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Lego games.
And let's not forget Pitfall way back in the day.
Yeah, you want to go way back to the Atari.
Yes. But this is, it's set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because as we all remember, Temple of Doom is a prequel. Mm-hmm. Players take control of Indiana Jones on a globe-trotting here's what I like about it, a one-player adventure.
This was on the Infernal Machine, side note, N64. 1999.
Wow.
I remember that. Wow.
Wow.
I
Okay.
loved my
Well, does that mean that it's
N64.
available on the Switch Online now?
No, I
Would it
doubt
be?
it. They suck so bad at bringing those games up.
Yeah, could be.
Very few.
But it's a first-person player. Here's the description. The year is 1937. Sinister forces are scouring the globe for the secret to an ancient power connected to the Great Circle, and only one person can stop them.
Nathan Drake.
Dave. Oh, Indiana Jones.
You know,
We had the same
you're reading
idea.
that. You read that byline, and all I'm thinking is, I wish Kay would read that in like 1930s news voice.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, do it.
The year is 1937. Sinister forces are scouring the globe for the secret to an ancient power connected to the Great Circle, and only one person can stop them. Indiana Jones.
Thank
You'll
you.
become
Thank
the
you.
legendary archaeologist in this cinematic action-adventure game from Machine Games, the award-winning studio behind the recent Wolfenstein series, and executive produced by Hall of Fame game designer Todd Howard.
Don't forget
you
to
so
drink
much.
your Ovaltine.
Drink your Ovaltine. And I watched the trailer, and it looks great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of puzzles, which is cool.
Gotta have that in an Indiana Jones game.
And you got, punching Nazis, which is what I'm here
Always
for.
good.
Got your whip action.
You got
for
the
his
whip.
Swinging across ledges and taking on baddies.
You're jumping, and it's got everything. So, and now let me read to you the wrong take on this trailer.
What? Someone didn't like this?
From I got this from Gizmodo,
Oh, Gizmodo.
and it's so wrong. Listen,
You guys.
and yet I can't help but be a little disappointed in that this is a first-person game. Wrong. Sure, both Bethesda and Machine Games are best known for first-person games. In theory, this lets us become indie in a way. But if I'm playing as indie, I'd love to see indie. You will.
Okay, so
Stupid.
they addressed this in the release trailer and the spiel about
Yeah.
it. They said you play in first person, but the camera will zoom out for all cutscenes and some of the traversals, I think.
Yeah.
So
Now, here's the part where he's really wrong. Also, while the voice acting, Indy is played by industry stalwart Troy Baker, best known as Joel in the last of his video games.
great voice actor.
Obviously tries to sound like Harrison Ford. It's just not quite there. And
Oh
maybe
my-
that's just me. It is just you.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He sounded a lot like young Harrison
He-
Ford in some of those clips.
He sounded more like Harrison Ford in this game than the voice actor playing Harrison Ford in the Disneyland ride, which was never close. Never even close.
Yeah, I'm nothing but excited for this game. It looks
it
looks
looks
rad. Machine Games has a fantastic pedigree. They did both of the new Wolfenstein games are absolutely fantastic. And they've done a lot of other smaller things to help out with like the Quake 2 and the Quake 1 remaster and stuff like that. Yeah, it's their Machine Games, and they're using the idTech engine, which is a fantastic engine for showcasing awesome visuals as well as running very well. So it's a win-win.
Go watch the trailer if you don't believe me. It just looks great. It looks like it's going to be fun to play, and I don't care what anyone says. That sounded like young Harrison Ford to me. All right. Anyway, look, more video game news. Tony,
Oh,
It's like
today
Tonyopolis.
it's just my day.
it's just your day. Look at this. Filmmaker David F. Sandberg, who has spent the past several years in the land of superheroes, is returning to his horror roots. He did, Shazam, of course. He has signed a deal to direct Until Dawn, an adaptation of the PlayStation horror video game. It's being made by Screen Gems and PlayStation Productions. All three units fall under the Sony corporate umbrella. Gary Dauberman, the screenwriter behind Annabelle, It, The Nun, doing a pass on the script, which was originally written by Blair Butler, who previously wrote The Invitation, vampire thing.
Okay.
Now, do you know about this game?
Yeah, it came out.
I have a
wanna-
synopsis, but
I want to say it came out in like 2016, somewhere around there.
2015 it says here.
2015. Okay, so it was a big deal on the PlayStation 4 because they just really nailed the visual aspect of everything on it. And the main character was played by Hayden Panettiere, the
really?
cheerleader from
Save the cheerleader.
Save the Cheerleader, Save the World.
Heroes.
Heroes, thank you. And the likeness was amazing, especially considering it was 8 years ago. So it's just it's highly regarded as a really good horror game.
Well, she's still around. I guess she could be
They
in
could
it.
totally have her in it if they wanted. Yeah.
The horror video game follows 8 friends and frenemies who are brought together at a remote mountain retreat. with live or die scenarios featuring a mysterious killer, cannibalistic wendigos, a cable car, and a long ago mining cave-in that reverberates into the present day.
You had me at Wendigo.
A cable car.
Cable car. It's important, I guess. I don't know. The members of the group must fight their fear if they hope to make it out alive in one piece. The game proved to be a surprise hit with critics, received numerous gaming awards.
Did quite well.
The logline for the feature adaptation, we don't know, but Screen Gems is describing it as an R-rated love letter to the horror genre, centering on an ensemble cast.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You'll be able to see.
And it's all Screen Gems, and I'm just like, I know that they've done movies of late, and I know they're a Sony subsidiary, but all I remember is like the 70s and the 60s and 70s TV shows that they did.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Screen Gems. Oh, right, them.
Boo, 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 ba-da-dee, ba-da-dee. That was the Screen Gems intro theme. All right.
That's going to be my new phone ringtone is what that's going to be.
Is that what you're going to do?
Oh, it's Carrie.
I think I have that here, actually.
No.
Why does that not surprise me?
I want yours.
Oh, well, here's the real one. Come on now.
Wow, that does sound 70s, 80s. 100%.
Holy nostalgia, Batman.
Dang.
Wow.
Mine's better. Anyway,
Yeah.
I look forward to being in your presence someday, Tony, and your phone going off, and it's me going burr, 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 doo, doo, dee, dee, dee.
You gave me another one to choose from.
That was better.
Perfect.
Go with the
Okay,
second one.
I'll go with
That's
the second one.
All right. And any of y'all listening, go ahead. Make it. I would love to hear it someday. I want to be walking through a mall and hear myself. All right. Let's do a little light housekeeping, and then we'll get on with the rest of the news. Of course, the Lee George Cade update. As we said last week, he's getting stronger so that he can have another surgery. Yay. I did speak with him, and he said his voice isn't quite where it needs to be. He's not as strong as where he needs to be, but we're hoping that, hopefully maybe even next week, that he can sit up long enough to talk with us for even just a few moments. I'd love to have him on the show just for a bit, just so he can say hi and
cameo style to start off.
And, I think he wants to say thank you to everybody who has helped him. So if you go to our Facebook or if you go to our Twitter page, there is a QR code. There it is. QR code that it donates directly to the family. So there's no fees taken out. There's none of that. It goes right to the Cade family on the Venmo. And, it's expensive to be Lee George Cade these days with all of the hospital bills that he has and are yet to come.
Yeah.
So any little bit that you can toss their way is helpful. So help the Cade family. Look for that QR code. Our Patreon, of course, GeekshowGotThisCovered.com is the link to our Patreon, where I'm trying to talk Robert into action figure theater videos.
Yeah.
I sent a couple of videos that will be posted when Tony gets around to it. One is an unboxing video of those action figures that I bought in Disneyland and paid way too much for. And then another one is, I forgot already.
Hold on, I have it here. Planet of the Apes.
All my Planet of the Apes stuff. Yes, I go through my Planet of the Apes. It's not all of it, but it's the toys. I mean, I have a lot of books and things like that. But
did you? Okay, so I got a question for you on the Star Wars toys, because I saw that unboxing, and knowing the joy that at least two of those figures brought you, was it too much? I mean, really.
Can you put a price on that feeling, Carrie?
Well,
Can you put a price on happiness, Carrie?
Well, if you're looking at it that way, then yes. But I mean, financially, I think if you go online and look for these action figures, you can buy them for, $8 each, and that's not $90 for the set.
But you get a nice box that goes with them with the retro cards and everything.
Yeah.
And that warm, fuzzy feeling of giving the House of Mouse your money.
That's true. The Jawa figure is beautiful. I do love a good Jawa figure. Anyway, all right. So there's our Patreon. Merch, go to geekshow.store. That's the only place to get our merch. If you buy it elsewhere, you're probably not going to get it. And if you do, it won't be very good quality. There are people out there trying to fool you into which I don't get. because we're not getting rich on this stuff.
I was going to say, they're not going to, you think they'd pick a higher value target.
I would, if I were a criminal, I'd be selling, something. But anyway, so go to our merch store, geekshow.store. And don't forget our social medias. Our Facebook is there for show announcements. But if you follow us on Twitter, you're going to get breaking news throughout the week. A lot of them stories that we talk about here on the show. So and from decent news sources. We didn't retweet any of the Ray movie is getting canceled. No, because that wasn't true. I'm my philosophy with this stuff is I'd rather be last than first and wrong. Okay,
last and correct than first
last
and wrong.
Correct than first and wrong.
Yeah.
So if you follow us on our Twitter, that's where you get that stuff.
Shout out to John Croston, who posted on our Facebook. He just got his Geek Show hoodie. Looking rad. He's got the Vulcan salute going.
Oh, look. Is that him?
Tilt it forward a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
There you go.
There we
There
go.
you
Oh,
go.
looking good, sir. Looking good. I got to get me one of those. All right. So there's our socials. We got the leak update. The Jay Whittaker update. Had a long talk with Jay yesterday and caught up with him. And basically what's going on is, first of all, Ben, I'm sorry, he hasn't quit the show. Sorry about that. No, he has not quit the show. He's got a new job with Weird Hours, and this Saturday thing is kind of tough for him to do. So he's going to work on that, and he will be back when he can, when he has a free Saturday. So just know that, and he loves you all and misses you all. He said to spread that to everybody. Okay, let's continue with some news. Did you finish watching Echo?
Yeah.
No.
Sure did.
Oh, Robert.
Come on, Rob.
I'm rewatching What If with my kids
Oh, good.
That's
because I
a good reason.
introduced them to that. So it's like, yeah, I'll push Echo for a week.
Okay.
Fair.
Well, Echo apparently did very well on not just Disney Plus, but on Hulu.
That's where we watched it.
And so it did very well, and it also apparently had a halo effect for those other shows. Daredevil Seasons 1 and 2, Hawkeye, and Punisher Season 1 received major audience bumps,
Nice.
according to the insiders. So there's that. But Echo did well, and they're planning more with Maya Lopez. They're really happy with what's going on, and they said, let's do some more stuff. Meanwhile, speaking of Daredevil, they're getting ready to start filming on Monday for the new season.
Nice.
And everything that you know about the old season, all that information is wrong. All right?
Whoops.
It is now, it's not going to be 14 or 20 episodes or whatever it is. They're going to keep it to 10, like 10
okay.
episodes. It's not going to be a courtroom drama like we were promised, which I honestly would have been okay with, but there you go. They're keeping it to a regular season series. D'Onofrio is back. I have yet to see confirmation on this, but all signs point to the Punisher being there.
That would be cool. Give me some more John Bernthal.
John
Yeah.
Bernthal. Also, we're getting Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, Deborah Ann Wall, and Eldon Henson.
Sweet.
Again, I've not seen confirmation of this, but all signs point to them coming back. And it will, it's not going to be that 18-episode monstrosity that they were talking about. They're shortening it down. They've tightened the story, which is a good idea. And if you, apparently, Kingpin's going to try to run for mayor again. So,
Yeah.
Against Luke Cage.
Ooh.
that would be fun.
I mean, that's what's happened. That's what happened in the comics. So
Yeah.
just going,
Yeah.
if they want to keep it topical and timely
Yeah, that's true.
comics even.
Exactly. So Daredevil is underway, starting production. I mean, they're going to use some footage from the early production before they had to shut down because of the strike. They're going to use some of that, not all of it, just some of it. And then they're going to start shooting again in New York, and hopefully we'll have it soon because I like Daredevil. All right.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1 is just blowing everybody's minds.
'Cause it's good.
Everybody who I've talked to that has seen it said that it is an amazing
Wait a
film.
minute. Have you not seen it?
I've not seen it yet, no. Been a little busy, yeah. But it's doing so well. The director was invited to Lucasfilm, to the ranch, Skywalker Ranch. He said, "Come on, we want to watch the movie, and we want to do a Q&A with our employees. We want to talk about, how are you able to do this on such a small budget,
We're spending way too much money. How did you make a good movie cheaply?
Because have you seen our payout? Oh man, it's just how do you do it? But anyway, January 26th for 1 week run in theaters. It's Godzilla -1 minus color. So they're releasing a gorgeous, stark, newly remastered black and white version of the film.
May have to go see it in the theater again.
So, and because this is a direct sequel to the original Godzilla, which was black and white, I guess that's kind of the vibe they're looking for. I mean, and from everything that I've been told about the film, I think that this would do absolutely great in black and white, possibly even better.
If you have any opportunity at all to go see this when it does this re-release, do it. It is, I mean, I enjoy kaiju. I mean, giant things breaking stuff. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
But this movie was just all the way around good, from storytelling, action, and on the budget they shot it on, allegedly, 15 million US. Fantastic movie.
Yeah. So, go head to the theaters to see it in black and white for 1 week, January 26th. I think it's still in theaters.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody who hadn't seen it at work and recommended they go see it this weekend. So know that the Cinemark theaters, at least the one in South Salt Lake, still has it at like one of the regular showing times or regular theater run.
Well,
Nice.
and I finished that Monarch series on Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of
Oh,
Godzilla.
I still have the last episode to go. What have I been doing with my life? I don't know.
Playing video games.
I guess.
All right. Robert, you're old.
Yes.
Or you have a good. No, let me not say that. You're not old. You have a good memory. How about that?
No, I'll take the I'm old. That's fine.
Do you remember
both.
on MTV the cartoon The Max and the comic book, of course?
Yes, a Sam Keith comic book. Yeah.
Sam Keith comic, but it was an animated series on MTV, which I'll be honest with you, I had a hard time following.
It was hard to follow.
I tried to watch
was.
it too, and I got way lost.
It was, I mean, it was a tough read. The art was fantastic. I love the look of the character. I have no idea anything about him,
His teeth are too big.
what his deal is. But
Just why are you going to go and give a guy grief about his overbite? Come on, man.
exactly, that's a
If
birthday.
there's a
present.
word that's more than overbite, that's what the Max has.
Uberbite,
Uberbite.
megabyte. No, wait, that was the bad guy on Reboot. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Reboot. Megabyte.
No copyright infringement.
But Channing Tatum has been trying to be a superhero for I don't know how long.
This is where he's gotten.
he
From
won't-
Duke to the Max.
Yep, he's not going to be Gambit. He's going to be the Max, and he confirmed on Instagram that his planned filmed adaptation of the Max is moving forward at Paramount. He says, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for this! I can't even explain. This is a childhood love of mine, the truly brilliant genius creation of Sam Keith. When I was grounded and wasn't allowed to watch TV, this was the only cartoon on MTV Oddities I would risk it all for. Sneak out of bed and put it on and pray I didn't get caught. Even now, after all this time, it feels somehow still ahead of its time. The characters in this, the Max, Julie Winters, Mr. Gone, taught me things about life. Okay.
Life.
Seeded complex ideas in my young mind that had a profound effect on how I viewed the world and the roles we play that I only intellectually understood way later. I can't wait to bring this to life and try to bring it to generations that miss it."
Does it sound like he's trying to sell this to go, I really want to star in this movie? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
I get the feeling he's
Is he already attached?
in it. I get the feeling it's all up and going. So if anybody can explain the Max, I would appreciate it, because honestly, it eluded me. I
All I
picked up a
know-
couple of
Might be able to.
okay, because I picked up a couple of issues and then I tried watching the show, and the whole idea just eluded me.
I know he's like a hobo in the real world,
He's
and he's a defender of a princess or something in the Max land. You know,
Yeah.
That's all I understood from the 5 episodes I tried to watch.
So yeah, maybe they can make it a little.
Interesting, because now you just
Yeah.
made me think. That sounds a lot like Tail Gunner Joe from DC back in the late '80s, kind of. Uh, man, cyborg in the real world, princess defender of this magical fantasy land in the cyber world.
Oh, leave it to Ag Fu. Of course, he's going to help us out here. The Max is a manifestation of Julie's trauma.
Nope, that's the wrong one. Where did eggs go?
At the
There it
bottom.
is.
Right there. There we go. He is a manifestation of Julie's trauma. Okay.
All right.
Again, if someone can make this story so that I understand it and can follow it, hey, I'm all for that. Show me what you got. All right. Andrew says, I think I still have the first 30 issues of the Max. Oh, okay. Maybe Andrew can explain it to me. Here's another one of these passion projects. And again, I'll say it. Todd McFarlane is his own worst enemy. He said 2024 will either make or break his long-promised Spawn movie, starring Jamie Foxx. He was just interviewed. He says, either I'm going to give Hollywood the best chance I can to do it, and if not, I've got plenty of outside investors waiting. So I'm trying to see if we can make the right deal within the norm of the Hollywood structure. If not, there have been plenty of examples, actually, a couple of big ones last year where people went outside the normal channel and succeeded, and people have done this before with independent movies. You make your movie and you find a distributor.
Spawn at Sundance 2025.
Spawn dance.
That one I could do in a heartbeat, fingers crossed. I'm going to give as much of an effort to those that live within the confines of it. Obviously, Jason Blum is one of the better ones at getting things done. They tell me I get to read the script this month, so the email's going out this week to remind them that they promised me that. Something's got to happen.
Guys, you remember? Guys.
Something's going to happen. I just know myself something's got to happen, because if I can't figure it out inside, I'll figure it out outside. But hopefully we can figure out a deal that keeps the two parties that have been involved over the years involved. Todd,
Blah, 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 blah.
Todd, you wrote a script where Spawn wasn't even in the movie.
You know what?
pre-Spawn.
It's gonna be all about The Clown by John Leguizamo, and I will watch it.
It was
because-
it was Sam and Twitch, and Spawn only
That's right.
appeared as a shadow. You know, I'm sorry, Todd. I know that sounds all artsy and fartsy for you, but I don't think that's what people want to see. You know?
Yeah, Tony, can you grab Charles's comment at the bottom here?
Yep.
Let's see.
Okay, so no, he doesn't, because it was his bread and butter after getting after leaving Marvel,
Yep.
and I mean, let's face it, it's his baby.
It's his baby.
So I can
Yeah.
see why he's going just like, we can do this. But Todd, my question to you is, don't you have enough money already? I mean, you're
well,
His
not
toy
only-
line
not
has
only-
got to be making bank. You know.
well, not only that, he's
Yeah.
doing multiple toy lines, not just McFarlane Toys with his properties. He's got the DC license now, and he's got it for the next 2 years, I think.
oh yeah, the Batman
And-
66 figures he's putting out are great.
Yeah, and the toy guy who will not buy a new McFarlane toy because Todd has said some horrific things, in my opinion. I'm just like, if I can find it secondhand or something, sure, but I'm not putting money in his pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is that if you were to let Blumhouse do it, they would they would do a great job. The problem is that Todd is going to be on the set every day going, no, do it this way.
Do it this way.
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't
And
act this way.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane is his own worst enemy when it comes to this kind of shit. He can't.
Well,
just,
I think that
know.
as long as I think that if he doesn't get writer, director, producer, like if somebody gives him a camera, and goes, here, Todd, just shoot it. I think that would be the worst thing, because you get like Frank Miller,
Yeah.
when he did
exactly the spirit.
The Spirit. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's going to happen. He's going to pick at nits until Hollywood just goes, fine, you go do your own goddamn movie. I don't care. And he'll do it, and it will be awful. And I'm sorry, Spawn fans, enjoy your comic books and your toys.
Well, and one of the funniest things to me about Spawn is when it first launched, he was supposed to have a finite amount of power
Mm-hmm.
to continue existing on the mortal plane, right? And every
Yeah.
time he used his abilities, his power diminished and he became closer and closer to going back to hell. And it's like, how, he sure has a large pool of finite power. It's been 30 years and he's still trucking along.
I've got 2 words for you, Tony. Doctor Who.
Yes. Exactly.
There. All right. All
That's
right.
true. That's true. If you want a good Spawn project, though, there was that HBO animated series.
That was good. Yeah.
That was terrific.
How about those on DVD?
I think that Todd had very little to do with those. But yeah, those were great. So if you're a Spawn fan, I would just say get yourself those on physical media, like I keep talking about, because I know I won't find it on the Max app if I go in there.
2 X's or 1 X?
Just one.
Well, yeah, different Maxes.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Let's see. I know I'm going to say this guy's name wrong. Chad Stahelski.
Close enough.
Good enough, yeah. Of course, if you saw John Wick Chapter 4, things are looking a little dicey for John Wick there at the end. But John Wick, the extended universe still has story to tell, thanks to John Wick's director, Chad Stahelski. His deal with Lionsgate to be the architect of the franchise's future.
Wasn't there already supposed to be
Yeah.
the Continental?
Continental on Peacock, yeah. It's a
Continental on
3-part
Peacock.
series.
And then there's the Ballerina, which is opening very soon. But this is a deal that he has cut to do more. His deal now includes overseeing the Highlander franchise, as was previously reported. He's slated to helm the reboot of the fantasy action cult classic. It says here.
Please tell me there's a tie-in to John Wick from the
Who
Highlander.
do you think is the high table?
They're giving him. They're just giving him more to do. You know. Also, executive producer on Ballerina, Len Wiseman's John Wick spinoff, which is coming up. So that means more spin-off movies, more TV shows in the vein of, Continental and things like that. More video games, probably. So don't worry.
Yeah.
John Wick is sticking around.
Tony, I just thought of something else.
Let me hear it.
Okay, so you want the tie-in with Highlander?
Uh-huh.
How do all of these people keep catching bullets and then getting back up?
See? They're all...
I'm just saying. It just threw somebody out of a building. He gets up, dusts off his jacket, walks away. How? Immortal.
Exactly.
Must be.
And none of this planet, alien things from Highlander 2. We're just going to forget that ever happened.
Andrew says he watched the Continental last night. He said it was good. So we'll see. All right. Let's move on. Now, these last two stories are interesting to me. The co-head of DC Studios. Follow James Gunn on his social media. He is really good about answering questions and debunking rumors.
Yeah.
So he got on social media to a fan who was worried that Superman Legacy is going to feature too many comic book characters. Doggone it. How dare a comic book movie do that? James Gunn defended the cast that he has assembled after fans expressed some concerns about the film, including too many characters. He took to... he's on Threads as well, so there's another place you can follow him. To explain that he is building a whole universe rather than just having comic book characters appear on the screen for just a few seconds.
Good.
He said the whole point was that it's not a large film. I mean, not in terms of cast. It's normal for single protagonist films to have other characters, much more unusual for them not to.
Yep.
He then added that he feels meaningless cameos are actually hurting the superhero genre. He says, I call that cameo porn. And it's been one of the worst elements of recent superhero films. If a character is in a film, they have to have a reason to be there story-wise. I don't mind actual cameos if it's a glimpse or a moment, an Easter egg. What bothers me is when they mangle an elegant story by shoehorning characters in. They aren't there because the story calls for it, but for some other reason. I wonder if he's talking about that Flash movie.
I was just thinking about the first scene on the bridge. It's like,
Or was he thinking, are we thinking about that Black Adam film? I wonder if that's what he's talking. He doesn't specify, but I'm just guessing.
So he then believes very much in Chekhov's superhero.
Yeah.
If it shows up early, it needs to show up for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to be there for. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think Marvel has, become kind of this way a little bit too. Like in the Marvels, when
Valkyrie.
gosh dang it, Valkyrie shows up, for like 2 seconds to be like,
Apparently, there was a scene that was cut out that had Valkyrie in it, where she was trying to reach Captain Marvel, but got Miss Marvel instead. So it wasn't as
not as egregious.
it wasn't as egregious as what we got theatrically.
Okay.
But I will say that sometimes Marvel does do that. They'll throw somebody in, you're just kind of like ooh, or throw a symbol of that character in. And you're kind of like, does this mean we're getting something? In the early phases of early parts of Phase 1, when you got the Easter eggs of a character may show up later, that was great.
Right.
But now you get the who shows up where, like the end of Shang-Chi, where you get Captain Marvel, Okoye, Rocket. I'm not going to say Wong, because Wong kind of had to be there for that part of the story.
Right.
But you get different things, and you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, we haven't gotten anything to fulfill that yet.
Yep.
All right. And then finally this, and I kind of wish Rebecca was here for this, because her big problem with Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, is the fact that, as you can see, Kong is wearing some sort of glove.
Where did he
right?
get the gauntlet? Oh!
He was playing Nintendo. It's his Power Glove.
She's got a real problem with this.
She hates that gauntlet.
She hates it. But in a conversation with Adam Wingard, he stated that he wanted Godzilla X Kong The New Empire to, quote, resemble the experience of what it was like to walk down a toy aisle in the 80s when you had Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and Transformers lining the shelves. He said, whenever I was talking to the visual artists, what I told them was, I want the color palette of this film to resemble the experience of what it was like to walk down the toy aisle in the 80s. There was just this orgasmic feeling, so many colors and textures. That's what I wanted to bring to this movie, this new heightened reality. I wanted to find out that you can take that over-the-top toy aisle experience, but then find a way to ground that into reality.
With giant monsters.
Reality.
So I think that might have something to do with this glove thing, this power glove that Kong has. It's very, hate to say it, toyetic. Certainly.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I just thought of something else.
What's that?
You just finished Monarch's season finale.
Yes.
Without spoiling it for anybody, you remember who showed up at the end? The group that showed up at the end? And where they were?
Yeah. Oh.
I'm wondering if they had something to do with that Power Glove there.
Oh.
Because here's why I say that.
I think
if you
you're
look
right.
at the timelines for Monarch modern era, it originally fell in 2015, so 1 year after Godzilla. This puts it now at 20. They had a 2-year jump, so they were 2017, which would put them right, I think, after the first wave of other Titans showed up. So this may be.
So Egg has a statement that I was thinking as well.
All right.
What if that's a cybernetic arm?
I was wondering the same thing.
Because you have
Jedi Kong.
Apex Cybernetics in the last Godzilla movie, and you also see mention of them in Monarch.
I don't know if it's. I think it's more of a.
It looks like a glove, not a prosthetic.
Because you can see his hand in it.
Oh, okay. But even then, it could be something, jacked up his hand.
Yeah,
and
something.
He needs
it could be
bionic, $6 billion Kong.
Yeah, a bionic sleeve kind of a thing.
Yeah, maybe his hand got crushed by a boulder or something, and so they made this power glove for him to wear so he can still be Kong.
We'll just have to watch the movie and find out, I guess.
Right.
Anyway. Ooh, I like this Mecha Kong.
Thank you, Andrew. Mecha Kong, yeah. Oh yeah, because we had Mecha Godzilla. Oh yes, okay.
Kong versus Predator. Oh wait,
there we
go.
Oh. Yeah, gutter puddle. Vader cut off his hand. No, I didn't.
Vader just jumping into movies, cutting hands off.
Kong, I am your father.
No!
He's just showing up. He's there. Anyway. Maybe it gave him more power. That's true, Jim. Maybe it gives him makes him stronger. Maybe he can, crush really big cans with it.
That's right.
Anyway, what did you consume this week? What do we have? Who wants to go first?
Going off with this, I will.
Do it.
All right.
Going back to physical media, I'm going to bring it back again. The latest issue of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, there you go.
And this is am I in the right corner? In the Monarch universe, Monarch Monsterverse.
Oh, it is.
Well.
So
what's the? Can you give us a summation without giving anything away? I mean, as to what is the
setup
deal?
is basically the Legion of the Injustice League or the Legion of Doom are kind of sick of losing to the Justice League all the time, and they break into a location in the DC, a famous location in the DCU, and steal basically a wishing stone.
Okay.
And wind up in the Monarchverse. And they're like, nope, we got to get out of here because this is dangerous. This is like giant monster dangerous. We out. And they wish themselves back, and they get hitchhikers.
Yep.
And it's not just those two. It's a couple of other Titans also make the trip, and hilarity ensues.
Oh, okay. That sounds fun.
I mean, it's if you love the Justice League, if you love giant kaiju, and you're like, what would it be like getting them all together? This is your book.
That sounds fun.
Run to your local comic shop. This is the 4th issue, I believe.
I love both of those things.
It's like a Reese's cup of joy.
Yeah.
Your kaiju got into my Justice League.
It's delicious.
Like I mentioned earlier, been rewatching What If, or introduced my girls to What If, and we were finishing up season 2 now.
So fun. I love that
and,
show.
Let me get a closer look at that. There we go.
Hang on. I got this.
That's the animated series version of that figure, isn't it?
Watcher. Yes, this is the Jeffrey Wright Watcher.
Wow, look at that.
Who appeared in yesterday's Action Figure Theater, actually.
Yes. That's
because it was National Popcorn Day, and it just seems like the Watcher would just be like, well, I got all these universes to watch, might as well enjoy it. But What If has been great. Finished up Monarch last week, and wow, I'm waiting to see what it do with it. But I also watched a not great movie called Leave the World Behind, which has all of the setup, none of the climactic. Oh, this is great. This is what I needed. Just kind of like, it's a punchline. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
A lot of people are having a problem with the end of this film.
It was disappointing, to say the least.
I watched it, and
Which one is this?
I just kind of let it wash over me. I didn't.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Julia Roberts. Yeah.
Julia Roberts. Mahershala Ali. And the thing is, it had all the pieces to make it a good movie. I mean,
great cast.
Ethan Hawke. It had Julia Roberts. It had Mahershala Ali. I'm like, that's 3 wins right there for me.
Oh. Mahershala Ali is and he's so good. Well, he's good in everything, but he's so good in this.
Ethan Hawke, the role for Ethan Hawke for me was like, that's not what I expect when I see him, and I loved him the way he portrayed it. And then you get the kids, and you're just kind of like, all right, these kids have some issues, but kids today, we'll call it that.
Kids these days.
And it just didn't pay off for me. So I was just like, Nah.
Yeah, I just kind of sat there as the credits rolled, and I went,
that happened.
huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where we were.
And then I shouted physical media, and that was it. Watch
and life was better again.
Watch the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right.
So that's me.
Everybody seems to be in that place with that movie. I've yet to see anyone defending that movie.
Same, yeah.
And the thing is, I've heard that the movie was adapted from a book of the same name, similar setup and everything, but apparently they adapted certain things differently than they did in the book, or changes, because the director, who is Sam Esmail, who did Mr. Robot, was like, we have all of these apocalyptic movies, and at the end of it, everybody's expecting, the heroes will overcome the tragedy of somehow and find good ways to move on. And I didn't want that. Well, he did that, but I mean, man, it was just like,
at what cost?
Flat.
I'll say this.
Just flat.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'll give this to the movie. I mean, we got some great performances, but this is the role that Kevin Bacon was born to play.
Oh dear God, yes.
he plays a doomsday prepper, redneck with a gun, the whole thing, and he fits into it so perfectly. It's like
seamlessly.
It's so seamless. It's like, is this really what Kevin Bacon is like? I know it's not because I see him on his videos and stuff. He's a goat farmer, for God's sake. He's
Why
he's
do you think he has goats? Preparing for the apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, right down to the baseball cap and
I mean,
the gun
the
on
first
his
thing you
shoulder.
see him, and you're just kind of like, "What are you doing, Kevin Bacon?"
and he's
like-
loading pallets of water into the back of his truck, and you're just like, okay.
But again, Chekhov's character, he came back when he comes back into the movie. You're like, "Okay, this totally makes sense now."
Exactly. Yeah.
But the movie it had the potential and just went, "Nope."
Yeah. All right. Is that it, Robert?
That's it.
All right, Tony.
Watched a movie that I had never seen because they just made a TV show about it. Ted. I'd never
Yes.
watched Ted.
You never saw the movies?
Never
Oh.
saw the movie.
Skip the second one. It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
The first one's actually kind of enjoyable.
The first one's pretty funny, but you can't make that movie now. Nope.
Probably not.
there's too many questionable jokes for this social climate. But it had some funny parts.
And the clips I've seen from the Ted TV series are pretty questionable too. I mean,
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
there-
there was a whole scene where Ted was dressing down this girl in the kids' class, and it was, oh wow,
Dang. Okay. Well, there you
it
go.
was rough. It was rough.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched that. It was all right. I had some funny parts. Kind of a funny idea for that story. But let's see. I watched. My wife and I started a show on Hulu called Run the Burbs.
Yes.
And it's pretty good. It's got I can't remember his name, but he's the friend of the son in Kim's Convenience. So
yes. We
his roommate friend.
Yeah, it's a series. It's a Canadian series, right?
Yeah, CBC.
We've been watching it as well. Yeah.
And it's just kind of lighthearted sitcom, kind of funny. I'd say it's good. It's a good one to put on if you just want something lighthearted and enjoyable.
And it's wholesome.
It's wholesome, yeah. It's a good family oriented kind of a thing. One that is not wholesome or family oriented. I watched Beef, the whole
Oh wow.
series of Beef miniseries, and that's something.
Yeah. Ali Wong
She's amazing in it,
is
and so
really
is
such a
Steven-
good actress.
Yeah,
And Stephen Yeun, of course, always been good.
Yep.
And they're so good in this. And
fantastic.
I can forgive Ali Wong for cheating on her husband in real life and getting divorced because she keeps putting out stuff like this. And her comedy specials are amazing. If you get a chance to watch any of them, there's a couple on Netflix, I believe.
There's a few times
We went and saw her at Symphony Hall when she came here to town, and it was funny because it was a show that was not advertised anywhere.
Oh,
But it was word of mouth through the Asian community, and the place was sold out, and it was just like
nice.
And it was such a grateful audience to have her there, and she was terrific. Anyway,
There's
go ahead.
sometimes where they don't frame the shot the same as other shots, and you can see just how tiny she actually is.
She's little, yeah.
It is super small. But yeah, she was absolutely phenomenal. Stephen Yeun was phenomenal in that. Just overall, the entire cast did a fantastic job. I can see why it got so much praise at the Emmys, and highly recommend checking that show out. As long as you don't expect something uplifting or good.
It's not.
It is the opposite of
It
that.
is the opposite. There is no happy ending.
But man, it was a fascinating watch. Super
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And then what was the other? Oh yeah, I watched the first episode on Hulu. They teased by putting up the first episode, that new animated sitcom with John Hamm, Grimsburg.
Yeah, I watched the first episode.
All they have is the first episode up so far,
Yeah.
and I think it has potential. I had some good laughs in the first episode, but you could tell they're definitely trying to find their legs.
Yeah. I had a couple of chuckles, but I'm reserving judgment.
Yeah. It's not a home run
Yeah.
out the gate, but it might be good with more episodes.
And if you hadn't told me it was John Hamm, I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny because listening to him voice this character and watching him in Fargo this season, they're just so opposite.
Man, can we talk about him in Fargo?
Yeah, so I have watched up to the last episode. I haven't watched the last episode from this
I haven't
week.
either. I've
But
got
man.
2 episodes left, and Sue is out of town, so I can't watch them yet.
Fargo has been just a banger this season. Super good. And he is terrifying in this.
He is everything I fear.
He is.
Literally,
Like,
he is.
literally, he is the people that we read about, you know, on the extremists that you're just like, uh-oh.
Yeah. No, I remember shutting off an episode and turning to my wife and going, that is everything that I fear. That guy right there. All
I'm
wrapped
not
up
John
in
Yeah.
one package, in
It's
one
the,
handsome
All right,
package.
I may have to check this out now.
Super extremist, you know, quote, Christian, end quote. Yeah, and he's amazing in this
And
role.
if you've read anything about the sovereign sheriff movement, which is very frightening, these sheriffs think that they're above any law.
They
Yeah.
are the law.
You know, they
Yeah.
think that the Constitution gives them the right to do
Carte blanche.
anything.
Ridiculous. Yeah, so check Fargo, man. This season has been.
Yeah. In one ham package. Thank you, Brett.
It's quite the ham sandwich.
Yes, thank you. I went back and because everyone is talking about how Echo's doing well and that's causing other shows to be watched again, I decided that I would go back and rewatch She-Hulk.
Oh, good show.
And what a treasure!
Yep.
What a wonderful treasure that series is. There's nothing, I've got no negatives. Everything about it is wonderful. And you know what? It was doing the Barbie message before Barbie,
Yep.
you know? And it was mostly, it was aimed at online bullshit. Online bullshit for men instead of real world bullshit for men.
Right.
And everything, Tatiana Maslany is just wonderful. When she breaks the fourth wall, looks right at you, and you know, and at one point she says, "I don't want you to think that this is one of those shows where it's a different guest every episode. I don't want you to get used to that because, well, wait a second, we did have," and she starts counting on
Names them all off.
right, so maybe we did, but but yeah, go back and rewatch She-Hulk. It's so delightful.
It was good. It was good.
It's so well done.
And
And-
I'm distraught that Disney's like, oh, its budget was too much. We're not picking it up for a second season.
I think that's why I went back and decided to watch it, is because they interviewed her on some red carpet, and she said, I think we broke their budget or something. But I mean, because it does look expensive. And,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of CGI.
and I love how they even talk about it in the show. They
Yeah.
said, if you could change off camera, that would be great because you're very expensive.
And
Oh,
Liza
okay.
Minnelli makes a good point about Tatiana Maslany and Orphan Black.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she came to most people's awareness, and she was amazing in that. In
Oh, yeah.
the 911 role she played in that series.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. She's just terrific. And then, since my wife is out of town, this is when I pull out my physical media and I watch stuff that she doesn't care for. So I decided to rewatch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I have the Criterion edition of it. And rewatched it. And then after doing that, I went, how close does this follow the book? As I recall, it's pretty damn close. And then I went back and I looked at the book. I also have a graphic novel version of it as well, of the book. And
Would you call yourself a fan of
You
Fear and
might
Loathing in
say
Las
that.
Vegas?
and as I'm doing this and I'm looking at the book and I'm like, what made them think that they could make this into a movie that was cohesive, that you could follow? Because you can't. They tried really hard, and I love this movie because it's one of my favorite books of all time. But it really is. It's not cohesive. It's, and I was starting to get angry at it as I was watching it. I was like, this is not helping people. Just pedestrians, as I like to call them, discover Hunter Thompson. They're just not going to. If this is the one thing that they see, this is not the thing This is not the way to do it. So then I realized that there are extras on the Criterion. And there's a documentary from the BBC that they did back in, I want to say, late 70s, 79, I think, where they got Hunter and they got Ralph Steadman, who does all the illustrations for all of his books and writing. And they said, we'll have you guys meet in Colorado, where Hunter lives, on Owl Farm. And we're going to have you drive from there to Las Vegas and then to Hollywood, because this was at a time when they were talking about making a movie about Hunter's life. And so this little kind of short documentary that the BBC is following them with, and that's when you realize you don't want to know too much about your heroes.
No.
Hunter Thompson was an asshole. I know that. I know he treated women poorly, but he's just an asshole. I mean, period. They try to interview him, and he wants nothing to do with it. And they're trying to shoot a documentary that he agreed to do, and he wants nothing to do with it. At one point, he, in typical Hunter Thompson fashion, locks himself in his hotel room and won't come out. So they finally have to force the door open. And when they do, for some reason, his face is covered with white makeup. Because not only is he crazy, but he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But and that was when they were getting ready. Thank you, Brett. He reminds me, because they were getting ready to make the movie Where the Buffalo Roam, which was Bill Murray plays Hunter Thompson, and there's Bill Murray in the documentary hanging out with Hunter, and they were friends, and we all know Bill Murray's an asshole, so maybe that's where he got it from. Rubbed off on him, but it's just fascinating. I would just say to you, the movie is exciting, sure, but don't let that be your exposure to Hunter Thompson. It's too hard to follow. It really is. Read the book. It's not a big book. It's not a long book. Or better yet, read one of his short stories. The Kentucky Derby is decadent and depraved, I would recommend. It's where he goes to the Kentucky Derby, and instead of covering the race, he's covering all the shit that's happening around the race, which is a lot more interesting.
Okay.
And these are all short things that he wrote for Rolling Stone. And so if you an introduction to Hunter Thompson, don't let it be the movie. Read the book. Yes, Liza Nell agrees with me. Being a librarian, of course, she would agree with me. Read the book. Or better yet, get that graphic novel. I picked it up at Dr. Volt's. It's the book, pretty much word for word, but illustrated, and it's just easier to follow. But anyway, that's what I have been consuming this week. Games? Any games? I don't think there are any games, are there?
No, there's not much. Just stuff to look forward to later on this year, like all the stuff Xbox announced and whatnot with Indiana Jones. And
I'm really going to have to get a new Xbox? Oh.
If you want to play it, yep.
Damn it.
I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming into 2023, Carrie.
All right.
One game, I need to step back into
Yes.
the game conversation here. We picked up a Oculus Quest 2 for Christmas this
fun.
year. One of the girls requested, we're like, that's more of a family gift, not just a kid gift.
Yeah.
And I have been spending my evenings, a lot of nights after work, playing. They've got a game called Walkabout Mini Golf. And I enjoy a good game of putt-putt. And this is, honestly, it's fun.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, put the headset on and putter away with the controller. You can also broadcast to your TV so people can see what you're doing rather than just sitting in the room just, swinging wildly.
Well, good, because I hate that. I hate it when people have those things on their heads and they're
Yeah, no, this is. I'm like,
gesturing
if I'm
wildly.
sitting down here, especially if I come down by myself, I'm like, I'll do this. They'll know what I'm doing. They can see what I'm doing.
Because I'm constantly saying, "What do you see?"
Yeah, and the animation is it's a little cartoony. I mean, they didn't try to make it photorealistic golf, but it has all of the physics and, for me, all of the fun of an actual miniature golf game.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So it's been fun.
All right.
Sweet.
So if you've got one of those Quest deals, I recommend this game.
Check it out. There was one game that came out this week that I do want to mention. It's called Pal World, and if you follow games, this is the game that everyone was looking at over the last few months that is called, it's basically Pokemon with guns. It's super weird. It's got some multiplayer aspect to it, co-op, things like that, but it's just this game developed by a small indie studio. I think there's only like 8 or 10 people on this studio. It might even be less. I can't remember for sure. It sold 1 million copies in the first 8 hours that it was released. It was very much look forward to. So one of these days I'll probably pick it up and see what the hype is all about. But I've got other games I need to play before that. So
All right. Well, if that's everything, we're going to head over to. Bring the question that has. Oh, yeah, that's true. Travis points out that if you want just Pluto TV, you can put on a headset and turn on MST 3K and block out the rest of the world. Yes, that's what I love Pluto TV for that. That and those old shows. Those old TV shows.
what are you watching, Carrie?
Emergency. Anyway.
+4.
+4. Anyway, thank you all. We're going to head over to the after party now. If you're a Patreon member, join us over there. GeekShowGotThisCovered.com. We continue the conversation here in a few moments. Live long and prosper, bitches.
I'm pushing the button.